Kedua, pembicara kedua saya sengaja gabungkan awal, walaupun ini harus import dari Singapura, nggak pakai visa, adalah Pak Charles Yong. Ya, saya kenal dengan Pak Charles ini adalah karena dari dulu kita kan kami di Astra sering pakai Korn Ferry, dan Pak Charles itu saya hubungan dengan Pak Charles, kalau cari orang dengan dia saya ke Singapura berkali, saya butuh orang ini. Dan sama Pak Charles juga adalah orangnya CHY bahasa kita. Ya, Pak Charles apa? Orangnya konseptual. Kalau saya minta, saya butuh presiden direktur seperti ini, dia tanya detail sampai dan kita diskusi mau seperti apa, tidak sekedar cari. Dan yang kedua sama Ibu Filia, orang yang makin tinggi ilmunya tuh humble. Makanya kalau kita belum humble itu artinya kita masih ilmunya cetek gitu ya. Mereka humble. Dan yang ketiga, ini Pak Charles memiliki semangat KBC Pak Julian. Dia yielding right. Itu kalau itu adalah value glory-nya KBC. Kita setelah kita lihat ekonomi, sekarang saya pengen ke Pak Charles nih. The end of the day kan leadernya kayak gimana? Ya, jadi Pak Charles ini ahli di dalam bidang selecting leader, selecting ini. Saya mau pindah ke Pak Charles. Pak Charles, setelah lihat begini ya, what do you think nih? Bagaimana leadership dalam kondisi yang tadi diceritakan Ibu Filia bahwa kondisinya menjadi the new normal, dan apa yang Anda lihat untuk bisa membuat leader-leader kita aware bahwa kita ini akan memasuki dunia baru, yaitu bisa jadi last man standing. Yang pertama tadi, saya kecil nggak urusan, industri jelek asal saya bagus. Yang kedua, Indonesia bisa jadi salah satu. Saya serahkan Pak Charles.
Oke, terima kasih Pak Paulus, Bu Filia. Good to see you again. Sugapun saya orangnya saya sekarang di Singapura, tapi spirit saya masih di Jakarta ya Pak. Terima kasih ada ini opportunity share-nya malam ini dengan kawan-kawan yang ada di sini malam ini. Saya langsung mulai presentasi saya ya. Terlebih dahulu ya, selamat ulang tahun Pak Paulus.
Terima kasih Pak Charles.
Jadi ini presentasi ini terdiri dari survei yang baru-baru ini dilakukan oleh Korn Ferry. Saya baru retire dari Korn Ferry ya, tapi Korn Ferry masih kasih saya permission untuk gunakan slide-slide yang berikut. Juga slide-nya hasilan juga saya ada banyak privilege in my work to meet and learn from many leaders, maupun di luar negeri atau di Indonesia. So I've met many outstanding leaders, pemimpin yang luar biasa sekali ya, seperti Pak Paulus sendiri ya, atau Bu Filia. Jadi sebenarnya presentasi saya ada dua bagian. Bagian pertama itu dampak COVID-19 terhadap bisnis, tapi udah jelasin dari Ibu Filia ya. Jadi saya akan konsentrasi bagian kedua aja, leaders view on the crisis. What do we see here ya, gambar ini. Kalau kita lihat di sebelah kiri, ada beberapa orang di kantor masih berbicara, debate semuanya. Apa orangnya berdebate. What to do with digital transformation, what do we do in the future. Tapi sekarang kan di sebelah kiri sudah ternampak ada ini, COVID-19. COVID-19 itu sudah menuju ke arah kita sekarang. Mungkin sudah tiba di pintu depan kita ya. Jadi message-nya apa? Message-nya, of course we have to get out of the way, but we have to take action. So COVID-19 is here and now. We cannot just sit and wait. Jadi mesti take action ya. So that's the takeaway from this slide. So now I'm going to move on to what are some of the practical actions that we've learned from many leaders that we have spoken to ya. Ya, tentunya juga ada satu poll ya. Ini pertanyaan kita beri ke the participant survey kita to ask where are the plans the leaders, where are they in their business? So maybe we can also do our own survey later on. But let's move on to look at what leaders are doing. Okay. Jadi malam ini kita semua di sini ada pemimpin ya. So pemimpinnya kita harus take action. We need to do three things here. We need to call to action. We need to involve our people, and we actually need to monitor what's the action that is taken. Tadi kan kita berdiskusi 5 R's. Pak Paulus tanya, what do we do? Do we do step 1, step 2, 3, 4, 5? What do we do? So we discuss, and I think the learning from that is we may need to do all 5, maybe in sequence, maybe we have to jump around. But I think the point is we have to take action, we need to monitor, and we need to be aware that we need to take action, not to be afraid to take action. But the point here is we should also monitor and look at revising what the actions that we have taken. Jadi we need to remain flexible. I think the word resilience was used by Bu Filia. Yeah? Jadi kita mesti we must remain agile in this crisis situation. Okay. The next slide actually is a collection. So berikutnya presentasi ini there are 10 items that we have collected from the collection of ideas that we learn from various leaders that we speak to. Number 1 is about communication. Communication ini, if we imagine waktu sekarang kalau kita masih ada di kantor, when we're in the office, mungkin kita, a lot of us have what we call open door policy. So people can come and go and come and talk to us. Sekarang kita berada di rumah, dan kita tidak saling bertemu kan. So we have to find ways, including creative ways, of how we continue to communicate with each other. Example, tonight we're using Zoom. I think without Zoom, we wouldn't be able to have this meeting. Also, of course, a lot of us are on WhatsApp chat group. So interesting that we have to remain creative. But the message here basically is keep the communication channels open for all. Yeah? Perihal kesehatan ya, kita termasuk saya sendiri, kita semua mengampangkan perihal kesehatannya. So we all take our health for granted. So this is an opportunity that we have now during this lockdown to also take care of our health, maybe to develop new healthy habits kan. Kita yang tinggal di Jakarta terbiasa traffic jam, we are stuck in traffic 2, 3, 4 hours a day kan. And now we have the luxury of working from home. We have the extra time. So, perhaps we can use this time more effectively to take care of our health. Ini juga, I'm sure all of you are doing it, but just some reminders from leaders that we do need to take care of our health. Okay, next is on technology. Of course, without technology, we wouldn't be having this meeting. So technology has helped a lot of, has enabled a lot of the businesses to continue. I think Bufilia was talking about a lot of online businesses and the fact that the technology companies are doing well because of the employment of technology. But technology has its limitation, obviously. For example, this afternoon, actually, my router, my router actually didn't work. So I was afraid that actually tonight I was not going to be able to join this meeting. But luckily, it works. But technology also has its other limitation. For example, my job is to speak to leaders. So ada banyak. My work involves one-to-one communication with leaders. So face-to-face meeting. kan waktu sekarang saya terpaksa guna video interview. In the video interview, it seems like you are talking to the person, but it's very hard to read the body language of the person, for example. So again, technology is fantastic. We need it, but we have to be aware that it has its limitation, and technology does not replace human interaction. Okay, this is about, I will still call this communication, is about one-to-one communication. In the office, we're able to have lunch or coffee with our colleagues, but right now working from home, at most we have our Zoom meetings, WhatsApp chat, and all that, other tools that we have. But let's not forget that we need to have also one-to-one conversation with our colleagues, with our friends. So this is a sort of a reminder of some of the steps that we need to remember during this period and moving forward. Kita sekarang bekerja di rumah ya, dari ini tidak mudah kan. We work from home and we are online all the time, but we need to respect people's time. We need to respect people's time because we can lose track of the time we spend working online. Saya mendengar teman-teman yang mengatakan bahwa mereka stuck in Zoom calls dari pagi hingga sore hingga malam juga. Also sometimes kadang-kadang bos mereka memanggil mereka di tengah malam. So we lose track of time. So online doesn't mean we are always on 24/7. Maksudnya we have to respect people's time and not go overboard. So that's point 5. Okay, hone in on what's critical. We can look at it in terms of what's urgent versus what's important. Ini strategi time management sebenarnya ya. I think it's popularized by Stephen Covey. So when we look at actions that we take, we have to differentiate between urgency and importance. Jadi kita bedakan antara what's urgent versus what's important. Because ada apa yang mendesak mungkin tidak penting. Tapi juga yang penting mungkin tidak mendesak. Apa contohnya? For example, we use a lot of WhatsApp chat. Itu sungguh bisa dianggap urgent kan? You're on WhatsApp chat. If you don't read it immediately, it's sort of gone. You have to follow it. So that's an example of urgent actions that we need to take. Tetapi apakah penting ya bagi kita membaca semua WhatsApp message teman kita? The message is there, is urgent, but we may not need to read all of them. Versus, let's say, what's important versus urgent. This evening, malam ini kita bicara tentang post-COVID-19. So we are actually looking ahead, what we can do now, and we're also preparing for the future. It is not that urgent because we're talking about the future. But we need to be prepared for the future. And it's an important thing that we need to do, but it's not so urgent per se. So that's an example. So it's just to beware that, we need to hone in on what's critical. We need to weigh between what's urgent versus what's important. This is an example, a reminder for all of us that no one size fits all. Maksudnya tidak ada satu ukuran atau satu langkah yang cocok untuk semua orang ya. So just a reminder that there's no one size fits all. Rewards and performance. What's important here is to recognize sekarang now is not business as usual. we are in very we are in uncharted territories. This is an unusual time that we are in. So we cannot expect also to have the same level of performance, same level of returns from our effort. So we need to not overstress ourselves. Ya, Bu Filian tadi bilang apa? Tarik nafas, ya. We need to also take a deep breath sometimes and not overstress ourselves. So we are in unusual times, so we have to manage our expectations. Ini juga tentang berkomunikasi. It's about informal conversation, informal communication that we need to put in place. Okay, this is point 9. Okay, so this is to say that we need to give people a voice. Kan in this time when we in the office, or rather when we have online conversation or Zoom calls, it's usually the speaker who talks, and it's a group conversation. So we need to give time for people to talk to us, maupun secara pribadi, one to one, dengan our staff and our friends. So this is another reminder that in terms of communication, we need to allow for people to feedback to us, including to feedback to us in private as well, not just in terms of a public type conversation. Okay, sorry, I've jumped the gun. I think just now I was talking about slide 10, which is to give people a voice. Yeah. Okay, next. Okay, I just want to say thank you to my friend Pak Satya for helping me with the slides. Okay, next. Okay, this is my last slide. Saya mau share ini my favorite quote on leadership. It says that a sign of a good leader is not how many followers you have, but really how many leaders you create. Okay. With that, I pass the mic back to Pak Paulus. Thank you very much, Pak Paulus.
Thank you, Pak Charles.
Maaf ya Pak, bahasa saya kurang lancar.
Nggak apa-apa, memang dia berat. Makanya sekarang bahasa Inggris saja supaya English saja. And I think it's very easy for you and your 10 commandment of leaders during COVID. You mentioned good for the organization and good for employees.
Yes, Pak.
To balance between focus on organization and employees. Sometimes like a contrary. If I want to defend the corporation, sometimes I have to cut off the employee first. Or I want to protect my employee and then maybe a little bit sacrifice the organization. Impractical, because we are talking about small and medium business, how to balance as a leaders so that we can protect organization as well as employee. As you mentioned, good for organization and good for employees, Pak Charles.
Yeah. Very true, Pak. That is a very profound question. Yeah, very difficult question, in fact, to answer if we look at what do we do. Do we protect the organization or do we protect the individual? Kalau organization is not strong, we also cannot protect the individual. My own view, Pak, is we always have to first take the view of the organization, because that's the support of the people that you carry in your organization. So it has to be about protecting the business first. That is a very painful acknowledgement that we must have to protect the organization. But it doesn't mean that we forget about the people. We forget about the people. So the best that we can is actually be very transparent as early as possible to share with our people what is really happening in the organization. Let them know ahead of time that maybe cuts has to be made. what can you do for them? How can you help them look for the next job? In fact, we should not wait. Maybe lesson learned here is we should not wait for a crisis to help our people. For me, my own staff, when I'm with my own staff, I always tell them this, but perusahaan kan, we cannot guarantee employment, but we can help you to be employable. So that bedanya, being employed versus being employable. Maksudnya, we should always help our people gain new skills at all times, so that even during a crisis, they're always increasing their skills, so that even if you have to let them go, they have the skill set that are demanded, that are very useful, and it's very easy for them to find job. Yeah.
Ya, jadi teman-teman semua ini fakta ini fakta yang harus dialami. Saya juga pernah mengalami seperti yang Pak Charles bilang, how to balance between good for organization and good for people. Waktu kami ada jalan tol road dan akan rubah dari tol biasa orang pakai pull tol menjadi automatic gate. Kita udah tahu nih 2 tahun akan jadi. Apa yang kita lakukan? Ya kita mesti prepare, kita mesti organization. Kalau nggak pakai otomatis kita akan jadi costly. Itu sebabnya kita harus lakukan itu. Tapi sebelum tahu itu, kita bisa training orang ke sana. Tapi kalau kondisi COVID ini, tadi yang Pak Charles sampaikan menarik sekali. We should not wait to help people. Kalau kita tahu kapal kita nggak sanggup menanggung semua karyawan, kita mesti bikin dan kita bantu mereka awal-awal. Jangan terlambat, jangan pura-pura nggak tahu. Jadi ini yang sebenarnya tidak fair. Dan kita memang tidak bisa garanti employment, tapi bisa kita help our people employability. Nah, Pak Charles, yang kedua nih, pertanyaan yang menarik dari cerita Anda tadi. Ini kan sesuatu yang kadang-kadang kita bingung ya. Kalimat Anda menarik, pertanyaan ini ya, voicing. Kadang-kadang bagaimana seorang leader membedakan voice, bahasa saya ya, voice and noise. How do you as a leaders understand the people di sini? Yeah, even it is voice or just noise. As a leader, what do you do?
Yeah. Wow, Pak Paulus, very good questions ya. Tapi kalau tidak ada noise-nya, mungkin tidak ada voice. So I think you have to allow the noise, Pak, dulunya. And I think over time, it's not an instant solution, kan? It's not an instant solution. But you need to allow the voice, the noise, as you say, and some are louder than others, of course. But I think over time you can hear who has the ones who speak, whether they just want to make noise, they just want to complain, or they actually have real concerns, real good ideas to contribute. So you have to allow the time to listen to the noise, unfortunately, but. And then from the noise, then as a leader, you need to be able to filter out what's the voice juga. But over time, I think your people, once they trust you, it's about gaining trust of your people. They won't just make noise. I think, they will really voice. And that's what I hope. Yeah.
Ya, terakhir dulu sebelum saya pindah lagi mengenai karena Anda kan PIY atau expert in selecting high level candidate CEO. I've been working with you. Dalam kondisi sekarang nih Pak, kalau ada perusahaan-perusahaan di sini yang tanya ya saya bingung sebagai owner, tapi sekarang saya mau cari orang yang profesional deh yang bisa run supaya saya bisa konsentrasi di dalam shareholders. Kalau kondisi sekarang Pak Charles selecting people, meminjam Ibu Filia tadi, Anda akan fokus orang yang ahli di R1, R2 atau R4, R5. Selecting candidate supaya semua orang yang dengar ini tahu nih. Jadi sebetulnya what type of leader we need now?
Yeah. Another good question, Pak. Actually, Pak, waktu Bapak invite me to join, actually I had a few questions for myself, Pak. First question is, how do you prepare for the unknown? Number one, and post COVID-19. Number two, is what you're asking indirectly, but perhaps you're also asking: is a good leader in crisis a good leader in normal times? I think your question part is good in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's also a question of, are we looking for a leader who can take us out of this crisis? And is that leader also good for post-crisis? I think that's a question that you as a company have to ask. What are you looking for? And again, transparency is important to look at what is needed. Yeah, crisis versus normal times. But of course, I would also say, if I can expand a bit, I would also say it is very difficult to answer. Is a good leader in crisis also a good leader in normal times? Like most consultants, the answer is tergantung. Yeah, it depends, and it's a yes or no. But it really is my honest answer. But it really depends, because kita as human beings, we are very, very complex, actually. We like to stereotype people, but humans are quite complex. But even if we simplify it, there's an interesting book called Think Fast and Think Slow. We're actually able to do both. We are hardwired to take actions, to what you call fight or flight, for example. We can actually work in 2 modes sometimes. If you're under pressure, if we look at psychological assessment, actually there is a preferred style of working in normal times, and there's also a style of working in a crisis. Kan? Even I give myself as example, waktu biasa saya bisa bicara sedikit gunakan bahasa Indonesia kan, but kalau saya terburu-buru if I am under pressure, maksudnya sekarang I have to speak in bahasa English so I can go back, I'm forced to go back and forth. So I think people have different styles sometimes, and I think people are highly complex. But I don't know if I answer your question, but yeah.
Ya, berarti artinya memang tidak ada semua orang yang bisa tahu lah. Ini kan memang jadi orang all season tuh paling menarik ya.
Ya.
All season menarik. Cuma justru karena Pak Charles pengalaman di dalam itu, jadi buat kita semua take away yang saya bisa ambil teman-teman semua, bahwa kadang-kadang kita harus tahu diri kita sendiri sih. Terutama banyak pengusaha nih. Anda tahu Anda itu leader apa? Kalau Anda bukan leader di krisis, udahlah serahin kepada orang. Nah, banyak pengusaha kita yang gagal karena dia merasa dia bisa man of all season. Kenapa banyak SMB itu gagal? Karena dia merasa man of all season. Padahal growing economy dengan downing ini in the valley itu beda. Nah, kalau profesional enaknya apa? Kita bisa ganti-ganti. Saya bisa ganti-ganti orang. Kamu tuh cocoknya untuk bangun kok. Kamu cocoknya untuk dobrak. Nah, kalau ini yang kita tidak lakukan ya, Anda tidak lakukan milih tim ini. Nah, saya sarankan kepada pengusaha yang lain, kalau Anda tetap kapten, Anda harus berani pilih nih orang-orang Anda sekarang. Yang dalam keadaan krisis, Anda yang majuin orang-orang yang tahan seperti ini. Kalau tidak, Anda masukin orang yang di dalam keadaan growing, ya perusahaan Anda makin berat gitu ya. Jadi,
ya, benar.
terima kasih Pak Charles.